Hi, this is Victoria Strombom with Certier Properties, and I'm here today with one of my friends and favorite stagers, Debbie Muccillo with Interiors Within Reach. And we are starting to see an increase in sellers wanting to bring their properties on the market. Not only sellers who held back during our quarantine period, but additionally, sellers who are now realizing they may need a bigger home, a smaller home, a single level home, or it's simply time to change. So with this in mind, I've asked Debbie to share with us today some of her tips, ideas, and plans of action that a seller could consider when they're putting their home on the market. So thank you for being with me today.
Thank you very much. So when we first meet a new client who's on the market to think about staging their home, we ask them, are they going to be vacating the property, or are they going to be residing in it during any period of time while it's on the market? Or is it a vacation home for them and they return occasionally to use the property?
Right.
So based on the situation, we, number one, if it's a vacant property and they're moving out, well then there's very little for the seller to do except if it needs to be painted or new flooring needs to be installed. We can help with both of those items easily. We have samples to support the choice that they make, and we can make that with them. We see if it needs to be painted. If it needs painting, we can support them with a team of painters.
I have to tell you, I love that about a property you helped me with last year because it was a worn home. And talk about everything old is new again. Your talents, I have to thank you for this, garnered 10% more for the value of that home than the sellers were told they could get. Debbie brought her whole team in, carpet, painting, changing fixtures, and staging, and we had multiple offers. So a great example, but it's what a unique part of your services. I just have to applaud you for that.
And in that context, the seller had a lot of old furnishings because the home belonged to their parents. So we coordinated donating the furnishings.
That's right.
And so through that cooperation with you, we ourselves found a great new donation facility to help us take inventory away from homes who the sellers don't know what to do with those items as well.
So it's a full service of coming in. So as a seller is thinking, I should think about coming on the market, or I want to come on the market, what are the top tips you would give a seller to prepare their home?
Well, when we enter the property, we know exactly what we're going to do and what we need them to do to facilitate the staging process. So number one, if the home is furnished and it's going to remain furnished with their furnishings, then we would edit the things that are too dated,
so
too
that's
large.
Taking things out.
Correct.
Got it.
And we ask them if they're going to remove those items or if we need to help them get that done, which we can also do.
Super.
And we can do that at arrival time when the staging starts and wrap their inventory and take it either to storage of their want, or we can wrap it and put it in their own garage for storage time.
Wow.
And so that really helps the seller because it takes one more thing off of their plate.
Sure.
Makes it a lot easier for them to move on with the staging idea, period, for those who are apprehensive about the process. If they are going to completely vacate the property, then we don't need to worry about anything left behind. Obviously, they're going to remove whatever they don't need and donate whatever they want to, etc.
So people will think sometimes, oh, I don't know that I can afford staging. I know everybody's prices are different and you have to take a look at the entire project, but how does it normally, is there a normal on how this works, or is it an initial fee and then a monthly fee? How does that work if you're a client considering this?
Okay, so we offer a 4-month term on our contracts. That count begins the day we actually install the furnishings. So the lead time up to that, the planning stage, we don't begin to charge them for that. Furnishings cost to us to house it at the warehouse, the fact that it's not usable to us because it's already been planned for that project.
Right.
So it's taken, so to speak.
Right.
So the process itself takes a few days, depending on the size of the home. They themselves will have to, as I mentioned before, edit if necessary. But we come in, we stage the whole property. It's a very quick process, 2 to 3 days, depending on the size of the home. And it's turnkey for them.
Right. I've seen it. I want to go back to 2 things in general. One is you mentioned your warehouse. So unlike some folks that they have to wait for inventory to come out of another property to put it in, you actually have a great resource of furnishings available for clients.
Yes, we do. We have a warehouse and we have furnishings being stored in that location at any day. Any day of the week we have that same amount of furnishings because our homes, once we stage them, of course they come back in because they've sold, and that turnaround is often, so usually we're picking up 1 to 2 homes per week, and we're staging 2 to 3 homes per week.
Excellent.
So that turnover of the inventory allows us to stage a lot of homes, but the warehouse itself houses enough inventory for 50 homes.
Outstanding. And I've always found it really fresh, by the way. I think that's a look too. Each house has its own style, so you want to make sure when you do decide to stage that you're working with somebody that can bring out the best qualities of your house without having it look like every other property, and that's the uniqueness of it. You also mentioned that you are getting super busy. Right now you're about 3 weeks.
Correct, 3 weeks out in advance. So those who are calling today are now going to wait 3 weeks for us to do their project.
I think this is remarkable, and this is what I'm trying to tell anybody listening who's going to be a seller is please call me and let me put you in touch with other experts so we can put the best foot forward for you when you're putting your house on the market, because we need to plan ahead. It's like anything good. You want to process through it, plan ahead. A couple of tips I always tend to tell sellers: pre-pack. Be sure to pre-pack. And as you said, edit things out. And it does not necessarily feel like you're home, but you're putting yourself ahead of it because the goal is to sell, and now you're almost done.
Correct.
One last question. I have had properties that you've done that have turned out so nice that the people say, oh, I think I want to buy that. Are you still willing to?
Oh yes, we sell. We just got another phone call yesterday. Just got a phone call from the realtor advising us that the home was in escrow and that the buyers want to buy some of the furnishings. So we're always willing to sell the furnishings. They just need to give us a phone call, tell us which items they want, and we'll send them an email with pricing on those pieces, and they stay in the home so that when we come back and remove the rest of the staging, those pieces are tagged to stay there.
Excellent.
And we can facilitate the buyer paying for the furnishings through escrow results also.
That's a win-win.
Yes.
All the way through. Really sets the tone.
They don't have to pay someone else to deliver furnishings. They don't have to hire an interior decorator to add those pieces that they're lacking. So it really is a win-win.
Right. I love the ease of just transition you bring in, again, moving the client's furnishings, bringing new furnishings in. It's a full level service. It's a great talent. And thank you for sharing this with us today.
Thank
Appreciate
you so much,
Debbie.
Thank you.